Hello, my name is Darren and I'm a lecturer from Swinburne University of Technology in Sarawak. Welcome to my abstract presentation. The title of my abstract is called Textual Practice, a Case Study of EAP in Published Articles. The contents of my presentation are as follows. We'll have our purpose, theoretical background, methodology, preliminary findings, discussion, and conclusion. So, let's start at the beginning with the introduction. So, as we all know, our students in the Malaysian secondary schools learn their English with a primary focus on operational proficiency, which means that they generally have a more conversational approach to it. However, when these students move on to colleges and universities, we teach them EAP, or English for Academic Purposes. Now, for us in universities, the English Language Education Reform in Malaysia, the roadmap, tells us that we need to prepare the students for the workplace. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a change. So from secondary school, where they have a communicative approach, we need to bridge that to the workplace, where they I assume they would need more workplace English for specific purposes kind of thing. However, that in that middle part there, we actually teach them the EAP with sometimes, of course, we do have one or two subjects for business English and such. But there is that question, is there still a need to teach them EAP? Why not we just teach them English for specific purposes all the way, right? So the assumption is that if students are expected to use academic articles in their studies, they should be taught how to read and interpret them. So that's why we're teaching them the EAP. So it's more like a study skills or academic literacy to bridge that gap before they enter the workplace. So the theoretical background behind this is that disciplinary knowledge is constructed between the reader, the author, and the community of practice. So while university students are in university, most of the time they will be encouraged to use academic journals during their studies. So that's why they need to learn how to read and interpret the journal articles which they need to use for their studies. Now, the roadmap calls this English language proficiency courses. These are the courses in which we teach the students how to read and write in academic style. And the characteristics of this academic style is as follows. They need to have, or they are encouraged to have, high lexical density, which means that the ratio of content words to grammar words is a little higher on the content word side. Academic English is encouraged to have a high nominal style, so it focuses on the action rather than the doers, and to have an impersonal construction, so you remove the writer from the article, right? And the whole purpose of this study is to see, or to find out if academics really write in academic style. So again, going back to students in universities, if they're using academic journal articles, if those articles are still written in academic style. If the answer is yes, then it's justified that we teach them academic style reading and writing, so that they can understand those things. If it's a no, then why are we still teaching them EAP, right? And this study is just a very small sample. So I'm going to just take the published articles from my faculty's School of Business. And only from 2023 published articles. And I'm going to look for characteristics of academic writing in those published journal articles. Now, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to create a corpus. So I'm going to identify the articles published in 2023 on our staff directory for the School of Business. I'm going to download those articles, copy the text to a text document, because that's how it's going to be uploaded to the corpus system, and I'm going to build that corpus using LancsBox-X. And I've done all of that. I have uploaded the files into LancsBox-X, and this is the initial output which you can see. So the corpus I built has 21 articles, mostly from finance and accounting. We have 3 articles about management, 3 articles about tourism. Interestingly, 3 articles about education, 2 articles in marketing, 2 in human resource, and 1 each for construction and agriculture. The size of my corpus is 104,643 tokens, and the articles come from a range of quality, if you can call it that. So there are Q1, Q2, Q3 journals, my site journals, and my journal journals. Now, I'm only going to show you the preliminary findings because I haven't finished the full analysis of all of these yet. So one thing good about LancsBox-X is that it makes life easy if you want to search for a certain type of word structure. So for example, here I just type in the search box there passive, and it gives me the number of instances that passive sentence structures appear in the text, right? So I don't have to specify be verb 3 and then look for the other types of passive structures as well. So you just put in passive, and it gives you the frequency of it in column number 3, which is compared to the total corpus, and the relative frequency in column number 4. So we are more interested in column number 4 there. So preliminary findings, the top 3 in terms of relative frequency is between 22% and 23%, which is fairly high. So there's about a quarter. Specific instances can be examined by clicking on the individual source. So from that table just now, when you click on the individual row, you will see the original text, and the instances of the passive structure is highlighted there, right? So looking, so the top 3, or the highest instances, was between 20 and 23%, and the bottom listed source is only 10%, which is still quite high. Another thing that I wanted to look at was whether there was a difference between journal rankings. So one might assume that Q1 Scopus index articles will have higher standards compared to maybe my site and my journal. However, from the results that we saw, from the preliminary results, there doesn't seem to be much of a difference, because the my site and my journal are present in the top 5, and you have Q1 and Q2 in the bottom 5 as well. So this brings us to the discussion with an asterisk, again, because this is just preliminary findings. There's a relatively high frequency of instances of passive sentence structure, which means that EAP is still relevant for students to learn if they want to use academic journals in their studies, whether it be in reading sources of information, or whether the students want to contribute to the existing body of knowledge themselves. So overall, again, this is still work in progress. I've only looked for the passive sentence structure, and those results also haven't really been looked at closely, so I will need to do that. and also other characteristics of EAP need to be examined as well. Right? So the limitations of this study is, of course, this sample is very, very small. It's just 1 year of publication in one school of one faculty of one campus. And of course, different disciplines might have different thresholds. That's another limitation. However, early findings show that teaching EAP in tertiary education institutions is still relevant because the EAP style seems to be present in the journal articles. And that is my presentation of my abstract. Thank you very much.